Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Barton Power Sports, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Best Care Home Services.
All right. I hope we have two winners there. Got two winners on our prizes. That's good and everything. Well, we're going to close out. We've been all over and I wanted to save the.
It just seemed like we came on the air just a minute ago.
we did, didn't we?
An hour and 15 minutes ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Lee, I can't
We're the
believe
fastest hour and a half in radio.
There ain't no doubt about that because we keep guests coming. And this is always one of my favorite subjects because the alligator season in Mississippi is just it's a big deal. And and this is the man that's had to deal with a big deal because there was a state record during the season this year by 1/2 inch. Now that is about as close as you can get for a record, and we got Ricky Flynt on with us now, and Ricky's the Alligator Fur Bear Nuisance Wildlife Program Coordinator, the longest title with the department down there, but he's known as the Gator Man. And good morning, Ricky.
Good morning.
Always good to talk to you, buddy. And hey, thank you for coming on this Saturday morning to talk about the season and how it went. I know we've all seen the gator that was caught. I think it was caught near Natchez or somewhere in that area.
Right.
But by 1/2 inch. So
1/2 inch, yeah.
And that's stretching it.
I want to know who has to scrub the mud off them gators to get an accurate measurement. You know.
Well, I mean that's the state job right there. Well, so talk about the season, how it went, and I know this big gator will be part of the conversation. But Ricky, this is season number what?
Season number 13.
And it just keeps going, doesn't it?
It does. You know, we started this opportunity back in 2005 with a very conservative offering of alligator permits. We offered 50 permits that first year on a little small stretch of 13 miles of waterway in central Mississippi. And we put the hamster in the cage and we ran it for a few years and got things to where I thought we had a really successful setup going, and we have since expanded it now statewide. I guess this is probably our 5th year with a statewide hunting opportunity, and it's been very good, very successful. We've got a lot of participation. We do drawings for these permits now. We had, excuse me, while that dog is barking.
That's fine. That's okay. He's chasing a gator. All right.
Yeah, he's barking at nothing. So
how many permits this past year?
We still have 920 permits available, and we had about 4,400 people make applications for those permits. We offered that application process for 1 week and had 4,400 and some odd applicants. And then we did the drawing, and those applicants had 48 hours after they received an email notification that they could buy their permit. After 48 hours, they lost their chance, and then we did an additional drawing for those who had not bought their permit, and that went very well. And
that was new, right?
That was new. We had been doing a first come, first serve kind of an internet crazy purchasing process. Yeah. That I think crazy is a good word to describe how it was going.
Yeah.
And it did work fine. The problem is that when you are dealing with something that is internet based, there are too many factors outside of our control for the customer that made things difficult for them, like their server speed, their connections, different things like that. And so we decided to make a change, and I'm going to be honest with you, I think this is probably the best system we've had yet, and I think it's going to stay.
Right.
So had a lot of participation. We had about 88% of the hunters that had a permit actually got out on the water and participated. And we're still running about 67% of those hunters are successful at harvesting at least one alligator.
67%. One alligator.
Is it just one gator per permit?
They're allowed to harvest two alligators.
Okay.
They have to be at least 4 feet long, but only one of those two can exceed 7 feet. And we do that on purpose. Like I told you, we kind of put the hamster in the cage years ago. And something we learned early on is, as you may well know, hunters and fishermen have a trophy mentality. And if you allow them to harvest two alligators, all they want to do is harvest two of the biggest ones they can get.
Yeah.
And while that's really not dangerous to our population at this point, we are looking way in advance. We want to be conservative, and we're trying to skew the hunting harvest with juvenile alligators as well as adult alligators, breeding size. And so what this has done is it has resulted in our harvest numbers almost mirroring a 50-50 harvest rate, as far as 50% below 7 foot and 50% of them above 7 foot. This year it ran up about 43% of those were over 7 foot. So we had a few more than expected in the under 7 foot, which is still great. We're trying to. I think it's working very good, and I tell you something, the hunters have learned. If you're going to put one on the table, you really want one of those under 7 foot anyway.
Right.
Yes. Right. That's the ones to eat because this is gator. Tastes like chicken, but it's good. You know, and
it tastes like chicken, but it's more like an alligator.
It's more like an alligator. And again, we're talking to Ricky Flynt here on Outdoors with Larry Ray, alligator program coordinator for the Mississippi Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks. And I know Ricky, this big one. There's what's out there. Where are we going to? Is the monster out there someplace?
Oh yeah. These records are going to continue to be broken. On the grand scale of things, alligator hunting is still relatively new, even though it's the 13th year. And, you know, there's some very remote areas in Mississippi, as well as in Tennessee, I'm sure.
Yes.
And there are some very old specimens out there in some remote areas that are very difficult to get to. And I know for a fact there are some alligators out there in the 15-foot range. And maybe even larger, and probably 1,000 pounds or greater. I know that we have weighed some alligators in Mississippi in the past over 1,000 pounds. So we're just waiting for one of the hunters to get one. So I do expect that these records will continue to be broken. It's just a matter of the person being in the right place at the right time with the right skills to be able to hang in there with them and get them.
Well, undoubtedly the hunting party of Brian Burnside of Brandon, this alligator weighed 766.5 pounds. Wow. The belly girth was 69 inches. The belly girth was 69 inches.
You can make a pair of boots out of that.
I can make a lot of pair of boots out of that. And the tail girth was 43 inches. So, and this is not swamp people, guys. Okay, this is not those guys running around the airboats and things like that. I know this has become real technical now. These guys that take these permits, a lot of them, man, they have the equipment now. That's probably from 13 years ago, Ricky, when we started this, and the guy he was lassoing them and trying to do these different kind of things. Now, these are serious hunters when it comes down to it.
Yeah, these people are, most of them are putting up a pretty significant investment. Before they get involved, let alone the boat, just the equipment. I mean, you got people up here in central and north Mississippi who's never had some of these rod and reels that would traditionally be used for something like tuna fishing or deep sea bottom fishing, and reels with capacity to hold 250 yards of 100-pound test line and things like that. So they're all networking with friends and family to try and increase their odds of someone that they know getting a permit, so that they can then all have a chance to go out and share the experience together. And it really is rewarding to me every year out on the water. We're checking these people for their safety and everything, enforcement-wise. And one of the most common things I hear from them, and whether it doesn't matter whether it's that 6-year-old kid in the bottom of the boat wrapped up in a blanket at 2 o'clock in the morning sound asleep, or the 75-year-old man with his 55-year-old son, but they're all saying this is the most exciting experience that they have ever been a part of, period, bar none. And so it's a privilege to be able to provide this opportunity to Mississippians to be able to go out and do this.
Well, it's just amazing when you consider. I'm sure when you catch you get a alligator that's over 14 feet. I hope your boat's longer than 15. So I know just to get these rascals in.
That'd be like the line in Jaws. The guy looks down and says, "We're gonna need a bigger boat."
We're gonna need a bigger boat. That's they may be the same thing. Well, Ricky, thank you, buddy, for being with us again. Unbelievable season. I know it excites you, and we're going on to bigger and better things. So we'll stay in touch. Okay.
Yeah, y'all come on down with us. We're going to be having a hurricane party later on.
Yeah, I know that. Thank you. We don't want any part of Nate. All right. Thanks, Ricky. All right.
Take care.
All right. Wow. All right. We got a few minutes here. That's
amazing that.
There. 2 minutes.
Yeah.
2 minutes is a voice come. Next week's show. What's going to happen on next week's show? You got any idea, Dave?
Ron Wong.
Next week's show we're going to try to get Doug Markham. Our communications
about the new app.
About the new app. It's some press coming out first of the week.
We're going to talk about that. Get Doug on and talk about that. We're also going to talk to the Scentlock people about some new early season hunting apparel. We're going to talk about the American Crappie Trail, Coastal Sunglasses, and we're going to close out the show with one of our favorite professional bass fishermen. That's Ott Defoe, a good friend out of East Tennessee who just won $100,000 in some bat.
That sounds like a Louisiana name.
Well, Ott Defoe.
Ott Defoe.
Yeah, well, it might have been. I think it used to be Defoe Ott, if I'm not mistaken. But all on next week's show. Thank you. Do you have any closing words, Gene Smith?
No. I'm brain dead today.
You're brain dead?
Yeah.
That's even worse of a closing word.
He didn't tell you the story about his neighbor? He was out talking to his neighbor the other day and asking how his day was going, and she said, "Well, I run over my cat with the lawnmower and I cut its tail off."
Yeah.
And
she had to wind up taking him to Walmart.
Yeah.
That's one of the largest retail stores in Memphis.
Yeah. One of the largest retailers,
Oh, retailers. Now we're getting it now. Yeah. Okay, that was a
Have
kicker.
Another sip of coffee.
Yeah, let me get some more coffee. All right, we got to get out of here after that one, brain dead. Okay. Oh, there we go. We're slipping out.
We're caught in the trap.
Greg Ratliff, thank you, buddy. This is Outdoors with Larry Ray. Remind you to do each and every week what? It doesn't cost an extra cent to be a good sport. And what?
God bless
the USA.
Watch the sunrise.